Hello friends, welcome. Friends, this is the second video that I am recording after a long period of time. And I told yesterday in my video that why I have not been able to record video because I have been working on my website, which is taking a lot of time. Now friends, why I am doing this today? Because this debate has become very interesting. And what is this debate? This is about allocation of satellite spectrum in India. So everybody is talking about it, and why this is going to be a tussle, a huge tussle. Let me explain through this video and I will make it very simple. First, let's look at what is going on between the big guys who are involved in doing this business. So if you look at this, Elon Musk recently made a statement and he objected to satellite spectrum being given through auction, right? That everybody knows. Yesterday in the IMC, Sunil Mittal made a very interesting spectrum. He talked about level playing condition. He said that the satellite spectrum operator should be taking spectrum at the same terms and condition, pay spectrum price at the same rate as the terrestrial operators if they want to provide services in the urban areas. That's what I made out, because it may not be verbatim, but this is what I understood from his statement, right? He didn't say that satellite spectrum has to be auctioned, but he said that satellite operators have to buy spectrum as the terrestrial operators have done in past. Now friends, you might be all confused. What is this all about? And I am not going to get into the technicalities of this debate. I'm not going to talk about why satellite spectrum should not be auctioned, why it should not be auctioned. Those are completely on the sideline. These are almost distortions, right? Let's talk about the crux of the issue. And the crux of the issue is all about money. Let's understand what are the implications for auctioning satellite spectrum. If the satellite spectrum is auctioned, what kind of implication the satellite operators have to undertake upon themselves if that happens, and if the auction does not happen, what is going to be the implication on the satellite operators? That's the key part of the debate. Now for that, friends, what I have done, I have created a very simple Excel sheet, and everything is all about numbers. So let's talk about this Excel sheet and you will understand the complete story. It will become extremely clear, right? And rest of the things are going to fall in the sideline, because it is not about whether satellite spectrum can be auctioned or not, which I am going to talk about whether it can be and whether even if it can be auctioned, what will be the model that will be involved in auctioning, etc. We will talk about that. But let's look at first the numbers, what the numbers are. Now friends, if you see here, there are actually 4 tables here, key tables. Actually you can say no, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 tables. Actually there are 6. So let me go step by step. So the first table which you see here is the satellite operators, the total. Actually it is not satellite operator, it is the Starlink's revenue projection and the projection of their subscribers. Because why I have taken Starlink? Because the Starlink is the most prominent of the operators. So this I had earlier extrapolated based on certain statement which Starlink had made earlier about India, right? And I am going to paste a link of that article which I did, article I did in year 2023, maybe around September, October. Now today Starlink has around 4 million subscribers worldwide, right? That's what I understand. Now if you make a simple projection of their subscriber numbers, and that you can very easily do so, because their subscriber numbers projection will not be in 20 millions or 10 millions. Because why? Because the Q comes from our subscriber projection as far as the wireline subscribers are concerned, because wireline subscribers are typically going to be providing a similar, Starlink is going to provide a similar kind of services what a typical wireline service is going to provide, because wireline is also being used to provide internet connectivity, and Starlink is also a fixed kind of connection, not going to be mobile. And I am going to explain later why it is going to be mobile if there is time in this video. But there is a synergy between wireline and wireless. Now you know friends that wireline revenues are typically around 500 rupees ARPU, right? That's the typical wireline revenue, and we have roughly around total wireline subscriber around 35.6 million, right? And everybody is now growing their worldwide subscribers. Now, we can't expect with Starlink having a global revenue, today as of date, if you see, we can go into the website and check, they have got 4 million subscribers worldwide. So India will not start with 10 million and 20 million. So I have made a modest projection of around how much? 0.2 million, right? So 0.2 million will be around 2 lakh subscribers, right? So I have increased the subscriber at a certain rate, and as the business grows, the subscriber numbers are going to grow in future. And I am projecting roughly around 1.5 million subscriber by 2023. Now, if you want to change it, you just simply have to change this and put a multiplier of 2, right? So if you do a multiplier of 2, then this number becomes 3 million. You can see that this whole table is going to change and the numbers are going to increase accordingly. So I'll bring it back to 1, right? So that's the multiplier. That's one important assumption. Second is the ARPU. ARPU means what is going to be the revenue potential from a Starlink subscriber. Because in order for you to calculate the total revenue which the Starlink is going to generate, you need to know the ARPU. Now, my understanding is they are roughly charging around $100 ARPU to their international subscribers. So I'm basically taking 8,000 rupees ARPU per month. So if you have 0.2 million subscribers and you have got 8,000 rupees ARPU per month, it translates to a revenue for Starlink for in a year of 1,920 crores. So you can basically keep on increasing. You can do the calculation for the years which are projected forward, and you will see that the numbers will accordingly get adjusted. Now, depending upon the various scenarios we are going to draw about this revenue potential of Starlink, depending upon how I change this multiplying factor, I am going to show you later. These are the two values which I have to change, and I'll show you later. I'll basically demonstrate to you later. Now, assume that since Starlink is the biggest satellite service provider of the world, they end up taking a 50% market share. Actually, they would take a much higher market share, 70%, 80%. That's my understanding. But I have been a little bit more generous and given 50% market share to the other satellite service providers. And therefore, what you do is that the revenue you divide by 0.5 and you actually get a industry revenue projection, because when you divide by 0.5, the total revenue of the industry is going to be in this particular line item. You know that. It's very simple. You divide Starlink revenue projection, you have 0.5, and you keep on doing that, you get a total industry revenue projection of this much, right? Now, how do you extrapolate from this revenue how much auction fees or SUC, spectrum usage charge, that the satellite industry should pay in order to be at par with the mobile operators? That's the whole purpose of this debate, right? When you talk about level playing condition, that is exactly what you mean. So let's try to extrapolate that. That's what the crux of this debate is, and otherwise everything is immaterial. Now friends, what I have done is, with the TRAI's data, what I have basically taken, and I just taken the data from TRAI's regular financial information which they let out every quarter. So the gross revenue numbers since 2015 I have plotted in this particular row. You can see that the numbers keep on changing. There was a certain dip because of Reliance entry, and now I have basically made a projection of 3,50,000 crores in 2024 of gross revenue. Now, mind you, this gross revenue consists of all operators, including those operators who are not mobile operators, ISP operators also. Then, one very important thing, which is the auction outflow and SUC, how much the industry has been paying since 2015. Because then only you will know that what is the percentage of gross revenue that industry is paying on auction and SUC, spectrum usage charge. That's the key, because license fee is going to be at par. 8% license fee will be applicable to the mobile industry as well as to the satellite industry. That's not part of the debate. The debate is about auction outflow and SUC. So you be with me, you will understand. Now, from where did I get this data? This particular data, from where did I get? This is available in the DOT's dashboard. you have to basically dig into this data and you can extract this data. I have done it. I have created a Tableau dashboard here, and this Tableau dashboard captures this information, which is the total spectrum fee. So this total spectrum fee, you can very easily get it from the DOT's website, and this includes SUC also. So what I have done is that I just pasted and copied this information in this particular row. And what else I have done? I have simply divided this number, right, with this number. Means 1730 divided by 2,65,000, and this 6.65% is the outflow as far as the mobile industry is concerned on auction as well as SUC, which is a percent of GR. So you know that 6.65 in 2015, 12.82 in 2016, 21.81 in 2017. Like this industry has been paying SUC as well as auction outflow both together, which you can very easily calculate based on their gross revenue. Now what I have done is I have imposed these numbers on the satellite industry. Right? You got it now, because these numbers, this percentage auction outflow of the total GR, I have calculated. Now I will impose this because I know the total revenue of the satellite industry, which I have extrapolated from here. And this number can be debated. We'll talk about this later. But I'm telling you the logic, what you have to apply. Now, once you do that, what do you do? After you have, so what I'm doing is I'm multiplying 6.65 with this, which is 3840, and what I am getting here, I am getting the projected outflow as far as satellite industry is concerned of 256 crore rupees on a yearly basis, and this number is going to keep on changing. As you move forward in time, in 2033, this number becomes 1783. So now, since this is a cash flow, I have to calculate discounted cash flow. So discounted cash flow is calculated here using a discount factor of 10%, which you see here, right here. So this number becomes how much? This you can very easily calculate, and the total projected net NPV after you add up all this discounted cash flow comes out to be 5,700 crores, right? So this should be the outflow as far as satellite industry is concerned if they are at par and are treated similarly as far as the mobile industry. If you take into consideration the logic of level playing, though the logic of level playing is a different subject altogether, which I will cover in a separate article or a video, but for a layman to understand this should be the simple principle applicable, right? So just be with this number, 5,700 crores is the NPV of all auctions which are happening in future, because this take into consideration all auction, because of the percentage which I have imposed is this auction, which include multiple auction as far as the mobile industry is concerned, right? Now let's look at this. Now from here the video is going to become very interesting, so stay with me. Do you know how much money that the industry paid for the millimeter wave auction? This is 14,709 crores. That's the amount industry paid. From where did I calculate this? Because it is already there in my website. If you go to my website and if you look at this article, this page, you will see that I have the total yearly outflow of the 26 gigahertz band, which is 14,708 crores of rupees, right? So that number is there. Now, if there is an auction to take place for satellite spectrum, or you call it license or whatever it is called, it will be treated at par with the millimeter wave, because millimeter wave is 26 gigahertz band and satellite frequencies are all falling in the same purview, which is actually lower than millimeter wave band, because that was the logic which people will apply, right, as far as satellite spectrum is concerned. Though there will be some nuances here and there will be no exclusive spectrum, right, but I am just trying to make it as simple as possible. So if there is an outflow for millimeter wave of 14,709 crores, and assume that the total satellite industry is forced to pay 14,709 crores for the auction, and forget about all the future auction, or you take into consideration all future auctions also, then what happens is that this is the outflow to start with, right? But you saw that the projected in NPV for if you impose the level playing condition, even the level playing condition with the industry as far as the terrestrial spectrum is concerned, comes out to be 5,700 crores. So this So even if you impose the level playing condition, the satellite industry is paying how much? Only less than half the total auction price of terrestrial spectrum of the 26 gigahertz band with a total outflow of 14,709 crore. You got it now? Now this is the worst case situation. If you do this, follow this logic. So if there is an auction, then there could be an argument from the terrestrial operator saying that, oh, by the way, there has to be a minimum outflow of 14,000 because we paid for millimeter wave, which is almost similar to the satellite spectrum at the same frequency range. So they can assume that they will forget all these calculations because I did this calculation for the sake of understanding and making it through the level playing condition. So this number, even if you follow this logic and if you follow these percentages, the number, because the revenue of satellite industry is low and the subscriber projections are low, the ARPU is low, therefore this number is low. It's very interesting. But if you do an auction and if you basically disregard all these numbers of revenue potential, etc., and you simply levy this number of 14,709, can you imagine how much amount of worst case situation the satellite industry would be? Now this is not the end of the story. There is the story actually, there is one more flavor to this story. Now let's say if there are no auction, what happens? You charge an SUC of only 1% for satellite industry, right? Or you make it 3%, 4%, whatever you want, and we'll change the numbers and see what happens. So if assume that it is 1% and you levy this number to the total industry revenue, which is here, then what happens is that the satellite projected SUC outflow is this, and the NPV calculation is this, and the total number is how much? Only 426 crores of rupees with an SUC of 1% and with a subscriber and revenue projections of this. So 426 crores versus 5,700 crores versus 14,009 crores. Can you imagine this? So let me just change this number from 1% to 2%. So if I change, it becomes 852 crores only, right? Now if I make it even 5% SUC, worst case, 2,129 crores only. This is the number. Look at this number. So this is no way at par with what this worst case number is. And this is only one auction. There could be some multiple auctions like that. And maybe the industry outflow as far as satellite industry would be much more than that. Do you now understand what is this game all about? Why this debate is going on, why there is a tussle going on between the big players who are involved in this game? Because of this simple problem. If you have auctions, then the outflow will be very significant because you cannot depress the price of the spectrum to such a low level that it kind of falls in the ballpark of 2,129. It will be very difficult to justify that. So it is all about numbers. Now let's do some tweaking here and there. Let me just take what I will do is I will change this number 1% to, let's say, one subscriber multiplier from 1 to 2, and I will do a revenue because when you increase the subscriber number, the revenue also has to be decreased because otherwise it is an inverse kind of proportion. But I will not decrease by 50%. I will decrease by, let's say, 70. I'll make it 0.7. So now if you see, the total industry revenue projection has changed now. The satellite industry revenue projection, this is the revenue projection. Now if you impose the same kind of outflow which the terrestrial industry saw as per as satellite industry, if you impose the same terrestrial outflow on the satellite industry, you end up getting a projected satellite auction outflow of 7,980 crores, nowhere close to what industry paid for millimeter wave spectrum. Now let's make it 3 times and let's make this 0.5 times, 0.5. Now you see what the number is. The number is still 8,550 crores, 50 crores here, nowhere close to what the industry paid for the millimeter wave. Now and look at the total NPV as far as 5% SUC. Still it is 3,193 even at the 5% SUC rate if you do an administrative allocation for satellite spectrum. Do you now understand where this game is all about? This is all about money. Now, whether satellite spectrum can be auctioned, whether it can't be auctioned, that's a separate debate altogether. Now, with the numbers right in front of you, I showed you why this battle has got heated up and why these people are fighting with each other, because this is a question of big numbers. The money involved is huge. So friends, I'll stop here and I'll come back to you with an article, a detailed article, and I'll explain this whole thing which I explained in this video in an article form so that people who are interested to read this will understand it better. So thank you for your time, and I'll come back to you with a new video next time.